Hello, welcome back to Boiler Room Reviews. My name is Ian, and today I'm going to be talking about all of the novels that I read last year in 2024. Now, I might not be able to squeeze them all into one video, so it might have to be a two-parter. If I speak about any novels that you'd like me to do some longer form content about, please just let me know in the comments. So let's get started. The first novel I'm going to talk about, I've already done a video of, so I won't speak about it very much, but that is Yukio Mishima's Confessions of a Mask, which I believe was published in 1949, which I very much enjoyed. So straight on to the second novel, which is Strange Weather in Tokyo by Hiromi Kawakami. Now, this I really enjoy. It's a very subtle love story between a younger woman and an older man. Very, very beautiful prose, very easy to read. I think this came out in 2001, so relatively new. Not read any other books by the author, but yeah, would recommend this. Definitely solid 7 out of 10. The prose reminded me a little bit of Yasunori Kawabata, which brings us nicely on to the third novel, which is The Rainbow by Yasunori Kawabata. Now, this was published in 1950, but I don't think it was translated till 2023, something like that. I've read 2 of his novels before. I very much enjoyed this. I'll be honest, I don't remember it very well. I remember it was 2 sisters, sort of coming of age story, post-war Japan, but very much enjoyed it. The prose, very lyrical, very poetic. Much like his other works that I've read. So yeah, would definitely recommend. So we'll go straight on to our next book, and we're back with Yukio Mishima with his 1956 novel, Temple of the Golden Pavilion. Now, this was absolutely brilliant. You can see why it's one of his most revered novels. The characters in it are wonderful. There's a side character, one of his friends, I think his name is Kashiwagi, who's got club feet in it, and he was absolutely brilliant. So there's lots of existential thoughts in it. There's lots about religion, hypocrisy. Very good read, yeah, solid 8 or 9 out of 10. The 5th novel I read, we're staying with Yukio Mishima. It's his 1950 novel, Thirst for Love. Now, this isn't always regarded as one of his absolute best, but I found the characters in this really, really amazing. And there's a rather dramatic, almost masochistic kind of ending to it. Very Mishima-like. Very much enjoyed this one. And the 6th novel, we're staying with Yukio Mishima. You can probably tell I had a bit of a Mishima phase last year. It's his 1953 novel, Forbidden Colours. Now, this is one of his longer ones, as you can see. This premise, I mean, this has a lot of chauvinism, a lot of misogyny in it in a way that only Yukio Mishima can really do. So if that's not your cup of tea, then I would bow out of this one. But I thought this was absolutely fantastic. There's similarities to Confessions of a Mask. It is seemingly semi-autobiographical, but yeah, there's a lot about the sort of homosexual underworld in Japan, and yeah, resentment, revenge, these sorts of themes. Very, very good though. Enjoyed this one. The 7th book is one that I've already reviewed on the channel, so you can check out the video on my page. It's John Williams' 1965 novel, Stoner. The prose in this is absolutely stunning. Recommend it to anyone. Brilliant read. Number 8 on the list, we're back with Mishima again. It's his 1954 novel, The Sound of Waves. Now, this is a little bit of a departure from his other stuff. This is ultimately quite a gentle love story, which is really beautifully written. But the final lines in it are very Mishima-like. It's almost as if he got to the end of the novel and thought, I haven't really thrown any chauvinism in here yet. I better do it with the last couple of lines. So those last couple of lines really made me laugh out loud, but it might not be to everyone's taste. But yeah, an excellent read. Definitely recommend. Number 9 on the list is Grady Hendrix's The Final Girl Support Group, which I believe came out in 2021. I think this is the 4th or 5th novel I've read by Grady Hendrix. Always good fun, sort of horror yarns. This one was very enjoyable. There's a lot of references to horror films or franchises like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So the characters in this it's sort of quite meta in that sense. So they're as if those events actually happened in real life, and now they're in a support group dealing with it. I did enjoy this, but I think he let his own politics slip into it a little bit too much, where it was quite obvious what what his politics are anyway. Bit like when a comedian tells you what their politics are and you're like, I already know that, there's no need, just continue with your art. But yeah, it was enjoyable, probably a 6 out of 10, worth a read if you like Grady Hendrix, if you like that kind of pulp horror thing. Number 10 on the list is Lonely Castle in the Mirror, and I'll be honest, this was a recommendation in a bookshop and I didn't finish it. It was enjoyable enough, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. Now, the author's name is Mizuki Sugimura. I'm butchering that. It's not to say that it's not worth picking up, but it just wasn't my sort of cup of tea. It felt almost more like teen fiction to me. So yeah, I got about 150 pages in and ducked out. So anyway, moving on. At number 11, we have Clive Barker's 1987 novel, Weaveworld. Now this, I believe, it was his second full-length novel after The Damnation Game, which I've already reviewed. This is a very large novel, 700-800 pages. If you like Clive Barker, like the Books of Blood and things like that, I would recommend this. This is where he started to step more from straight horror into kind of cosmic horror. But if you like his horror elements, there's plenty of them in it, lots of subplots. There's some elements to it that I found were a little bit flat, but when you're going over sort of 800 pages, that's kind of bound to happen. So Clive Barker's a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine, but yeah, I really enjoyed this one. One of my favourites of his I've read. There's also a brilliant villain in it called Shadwell. So if you know the novel, you'll know who I'm referring to. It's definitely one of Barker's best villains that he's ever written. The 12th novel is Jack Finney's 1954 book, The Body Snatchers. Now, you're probably aware of this. It's been made into at least 2 films that I'm aware of. I enjoyed this, but I felt as the novel went on, it dragged a little bit. I'd probably give this a 5 or 6 out of 10. Some good stuff in there. It was a great idea, but yeah, it was a little bit disappointing towards the end, for me at least. At number 13, we're back with Yukio Mishima, a novella really, called Star. I think this came out in 1960. Yeah, it's only short, this, but very, very enjoyable. It's about the pitfalls of stardom, really, and there's some really quite dark passages in there, very Mishima-esque, that I enjoyed greatly. But it's only very short, so it's an easy read. You could read it in an hour or two. And yeah, definitely worth picking up, though, if you're a Mishima fan. And at number 14, I think I'm going to leave this as the final one for this video. We're back with Yukio Mishima again, his 1960 novel, After the Banquet. Now, this was quite pedestrian for Mishima, but what I didn't realise until reading into it afterwards, this book actually caused a change of legislation in Japan, because the character that Mishima's writing about was actually based on a real-life person. So there was a bit of furore around, had he overstepped the mark? Was it too close to the real life of this politician who he was referring to? But yeah, it was very enjoyable. Not one of my favourite Mishimas, probably like 6 or 7 out of 10. But yeah, definitely worth a read. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to do another video with the other novels that I read in 2024. So let me know your thoughts. If you'd like me to do a longer length version of any of these novels, please let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.